you open the newspapers, it's going to be every single one of your pictures and bios. So it's going to be awesome. Yes, Victoria.
Can you like exclude me out of it?
No, no, we cannot. It's part of the contract. We'll have legal issues. We don't want to go there, you know.
It's part of the deal.
It's part of the deal. It's going to be awesome. Okay, everyone, one of my dearest friends, he's coming all the way from Texas, but he is from the deep,
not
deep
that far.
south, from the Republic of Argentina, like me.
Yes.
So Dr. Luis Sanchez is here with us today, all the way from Texas and Argentina. Thank you, friend, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, rockstar, great, great dear friend, Stanley artist, and one of the greatest musicians I have ever met in
my
my
God.
life, and a dear friend. Yes, sir, you are. Okay, we have two students for you.
Yes.
Radita is going to start with Rachmaninoff Prelude in G minor. It's a pleasure to have you here with
That's
us.
great. Well, thank you. Thank you. Just give me 1 second. I just want to say thank you. I'm very happy to be here as well. It's my second visit to Oxford, and I'm looking forward maybe to seeing other places that I didn't see last time. I enjoyed my visit last year. I'm happy
Try
to be
some food
back.
that you haven't tried last
I know, yes, Southern hospitality. I love it. Okay, so I think you want to play first?
Yes.
Okay, let's do it. We have some Rachmaninoff, Opus 23, number 5. Very nice job. Remind me how you say your name.
Raditya.
Raditya. Very nice. Now tell me about this piece and how long you have had it in your fingers. How long have you started working on it?
A couple months.
A couple months. That's amazing how much work you did in just a couple months because it's a very difficult piece. What did you find the most challenging with this?
Accuracy and like especially the octaves, like
The octave places, accuracy. Can you be more specific, like accuracy in what kind of situations?
like jumping.
Jumping, right? There's tons of lateral movement in this, right? So I want to help you with that and see if we can kind of fine-tune some of those accuracy issues that you mentioned. Anything else?
And the middle section for especially when there's two voices.
Two melodies, right? Just voicing two different melodies, right? That happen at the same time. So, yes, Rachmaninoff kind of put a bunch of different challenges in here for us to solve, but it's worth working on that because it's a beautiful piece, right? So, I thought we could just take a look at the beginning first, and if you could play maybe the first 3 lines again, okay? Good. All right. So I think that one thing that will definitely help you with accuracy is to feel that you're inside the keyboard more. Okay. My sensation is that you're tending to play, because of the softness that we have to use, a little bit on the surface. Okay. And that is like walking on thin ice. You know, if we walk on thin ice, we never feel quite, secure. Right. So I would look at that. And another thing is that many times Rachmaninoff writes either an accent or a long note, like a dotted quarter note, or a tenuto. In all those instances, you have the opportunity to actually stay longer in the key. Don't play all of them short, okay? That will help you not only with accuracy, but also with bringing out voices, okay? And very few places, but we still need to do them, those places when he marks legato. Okay, so let's take, for example, just the first 3 measures, just the right hand for now, okay? Good, so for example this. Can you feel that your hand is a little more firm and not so wobbly? That will bring more definition to those sounds. Let's go a little slower, we have time. Yes, I can feel firm, but it's still quiet, right? You see my hand is not at all wobbly with the... Yes, okay. And then the last thing we need to decide is, do you want to go to the last note? Da-da-dee, like go to there? Or do you want to emphasize the first note? What do you prefer?
Like.
Yeah, we go to the last. We cannot do both. We have to always choose, right? Which note do we want to give more emphasis to? So try not to start them, any of these groups, with emphasis. Go to the last. Save it for the last note, okay? Good. All right, now let's see how the left hand is behaving. Good. Can you make your lateral movement quicker? Your idea has to always be to arrive early, not on time. Arrive early. Okay, so that means that your movement has to be super speed. Okay, it's like your movement is prestissimo, even though our tempo right now it's moderato. Okay, try again. Yes, okay. So now let's take, for example, another place where you have more of those lateral movements. And that would be, for example, the return over here. Yes, we have more jumps over there. Can you take just the left hand for now?
So
Is that a
where-
weird place? Maybe here? Yeah. Think of moving quickly. Yes, good. Now, another way you can practice that is to do the movement. For example, where we had that G that you missed. Where's that G that you just missed? Help me out here. Yes, so for example, I get ready, but I don't play it. Okay? So if I always play, I land like this, right? But if I... So prepare, but don't play. So maybe back it up to the D, to the D. Prepare. Yes, it's like you're fine-tuning the distance. All right? Can you do that with your right hand now, starting on the same place, on that D? Prepare. Yes. All together. Still preparing, okay? Don't play that bass right away. Just prepare it, and then you play it. Okay. Relax your neck. Prepare. Yes. I think that will be really beneficial in your practice to do that. And then the other thing is that don't let fingers 3 and 4 get lazy and linger too low, because those are the ones that sometimes are scratching other notes. Okay, so when you play your octaves, make sure this stay up a little higher. Make sense? All right, good. Okay, so one thing that I think we also need to consider in the opening is a bit of balance. Okay, we have too much going on that is the same notes in both hands, right? But can you give more to the right hand? Mm-hmm. That's the melody that has to project to the whole, okay? So from the top. Good. You can go back to your tempo. Good. All right. So let's see a little bit if we can be a bit more creative with those two measures. So they're not musically static. Right now I feel that they're all the same dynamic, right? And so, for example, when you go bum, 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 you can already create shape in that, okay? Go there, then come back. Go there, then. Let's see what's going on with that. Yeah, go back maybe to this one, or this one is better, I think, to start. To the F. Yeah, there's instances where you can actually hold. You can actually hold that one. Whenever possible, you need to hold on to something. Right? Otherwise, you're always jumping, on a trampoline. You have nowhere to get hold of, right? So thankfully, there's a few places where your hand can feel anchored. Okay? The F is one of them. The A is another one of them. Yeah? Let's try that. I mean, sometimes changing fingering on the spot is like close to impossible, so don't stress over it, okay? Just something to think about after today. Good. So kind of leads to something else to think about, and that is, how strong should those accents be? You know? Should they all be the same?
No, they should get a little.
Right, so maybe give a little less to the first one, and then a little more, and then more to the next one. That's your highest one, right? Right? That's actually where the forte actually is. So go back. Maybe let's calm down the tempo a little bit. Yeah, so another thing you can do is practice this without the distraction of the chords. That's the tune. All the stuff that is inserted in the middle is not really part of the tune. So think da 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 dee, da 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 da. Play that once, just the tune. Da 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 dee, da da da. Now we insert the percussion accompaniment in the background, right? Da 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 dee da. Yes, so we do have to hold this with pedal, yeah, so that we hear the sustain. Da, da, dee, da, da. Good. I'll give you another idea. Can you hold the pedal until you start that 16th note? Da, da, da. Oh. Hold. Yes. Except for the last one, now we have the long continuity of the line. Did you hear it? There's something else to consider on that. Okay, let's skip to this other spot where your favorite octaves come in, right? So, dun, 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 dun. Such a great instrument. But can you give even more top? Because that's what's going to carry in the whole, the top. Okay? Oh, that's what needs to carry in the whole. Good. Let's look at that one that is problematic there. This one, right? Do you practice them dividing first this and then this? So it's like two movements. This is one, and this is the other one. There you are. So then, coming back to the E flat, it won't be as tricky. Okay? Play this one. The first one. That's not a problem. The next one. That's another one that you can practice in divided into half. First half, second half. Try it. So literally, when you practice, break it up. And then, there you go. Yeah. Feel that all your weight is sent and anchored on this side of your hand, not on your thumb. Okay? So you can even do, just leave out your thumb. The thumb can take care of himself. We put attention here. Okay? So then you add your thumb and your second finger. There you go. Yes. Practice it anchoring, the top half of your hand. Okay, now we get to your moment. Good. So do you practice your octaves maybe just playing your thumbs? Oops. Maybe not. Let's try that. Yes, and let's do that one more time and do it slower and try to stay in the same part of the key. No, in, out, not zigzag. It's like a line that is as straight as it can be. Slower. Slow is an option. Go ahead, one more time. Can you get your thumb on D closer to the middle of the key? Yes. Slow, 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 slow. It's exciting. We just, yeah. Yeah, so I think of this. If our keyboard was like a corridor or a hallway I'm walking in, yeah? I either walk in the middle of the hallway or close to this wall or close to this wall. I doubt I will be walking, we're going, from one wall to the other. So I want to try to make my thumb walk as straight as possible, okay? Now, still thinking of your thumb, add your 5 or 4, whatever you use. Now let this go. So no pedal. Okay, and slower. You'll have to play fast, don't you? So you can also get position on top of the next one. Is there any chance your elbow and your wrist can relax a little more? You started out great. As you went, your wrist went to his habitual place, right? So let your wrist stay down. Yeah, and when you let your elbow down, your shoulder will also come down. Try it. There it is. That should already feel a little more comfortable than this, right? Try it again. Yes, I don't think staccato anymore. I know they're staccato. They will sound staccato, but your hand needs to feel that it's gripping onto something, okay? Great. Okay, now add your left. No pedal, no speed yet. Yes. Yeah. Good. And we'll find 2 places of impulse. Or 3 actually. This one, and this one. Da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 boom. Da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 boom. Right? Yes. Notice I used the word impulse. I didn't use the word accent. Yeah, because your audience doesn't want to hear da 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 da. We want to hear da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da 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 boom. Right? There we go. Keep thinking of this, that your elbow doesn't go up where it gets kind of in the way, right? The weight is going down, not that way, right? There you go. Your wrist is behaving nicely too. Now a little more speed. There it goes. Good. Let's see if it's behaving now, starting a little earlier, right? Wow. Much better. So what's your takeaway with this little work we did together on that passage? What will you do at home?
Try to do the thumbs and then...
Thumbs really help. Thumbs really guide where the hand is going to be placed, right? And our hand also needs a break from practicing octaves so many times. So, give your finger 5 a break. Thumb as straight of a line as possible, right? What else are you going to watch for?
And make sure it's...
Yeah, this. Because when I lift this, what happens? My thumb ends up outside of the keyboard, right? So then I have to twist to get there. Doesn't look very comfortable, does it, right? So, but if I'm here in neutral and I take my hand to the piano, that's how it goes, not this way. Make sense? So elbow, wrist, thumb. Those are your 3 checkpoints for your octaves. Any octaves, not just this. Good job. Any questions? Anything that you're like wondering or like I didn't have time to talk about?
I've heard some people play these ones, like with everything octave instead of.
Yeah, leave that note in there. Yes, that note is supposed to be there. Sometimes we barely hear it, right? And some people just leave it out, but don't be one of those people.
I mean, like,
Play all the notes. Rahman put.
I mean, like for this one they play.
Oh, octave as well. No, do this. Do this version, the one he approved. Right? What else?
I think I don't have any.
Okay, well, if you think something else later on, I'll be here till Saturday. Yes, I hear questions?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you say that's like straight corridor metaphor that you use applies just like across the board when you're playing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, for example, if you're playing, I don't know, something, easy comparison, a chromatic scale, you want to stay right there in the middle, right? Yeah. Or if it's a passage that includes both black and white, try to avoid this. I always tell my students, this thing of in and out of the keyboard really gets in the way. Try to make the movement as fluid as possible this way.
I have a couple, but I don't
Yeah.
want to take up too much time. One, could you talk a little bit about tension in the hand for repeated staccato figures? Because you were saying before, like, don't do this.
Right.
Like, have more tension so you're focused on the
Good
striking.
point.
So can you just talk a little
Good
bit
point,
about
very good point. So it's very easy to be on the extremes, right? Or either too relaxed where we really don't have any control, and we're kind of a victim of gravity that is pulling everything down, or too much tension. The extremes are the ones that we want to really stay away from, in my opinion. We want to find how much muscle tone can I have that I have control, but there's no tension getting in the way.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
Okay, so the muscle tone.
Muscle tone is needed. Right now, I feel very relaxed talking in front of all of you, but I have some muscle tone going on in my legs, otherwise I will fall, right? So if I relax my hips and my knees, I'm on the floor, right? So there's enough muscle tone that needs to be present so that I can hold the weight of the arm. Does that make sense?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. Good question.
Also,
Yes, go ahead, please. Yes. What's your name, by the way? Sorry.
Jordan.
Jordan. Your other question, yes.
So, can you talk a little bit just about this like motion of gliding across the piano, where instead of having all the contortions, sometimes when we have scales, or because like one of my favorite pianists, Chick Corea, talks about how his hands just this, up and down, not a lot of this or this or this. So can you talk about maybe like how you would practice just trying to make your wrists move as little as possible?
Good.
To be relaxed.
Yes. So I think rather than saying move the wrist as little as possible, I would change that to move the wrist as efficiently as possible. Because the wrist it needs to be flexible, it needs to be active, but it also needs to be efficient in its movement. Okay? So one thing I do with my students, we're going to switch places for just a little bit, is I start, whenever I have students that have, and this is really uncomfortable, so I'm going to put it here. I'm going to break it. So I start my students in this neutral place.
Okay.
Neutral place is here. My hands are resting on my lap. And then from this place, I take them to the piano. Here or here. If I have a student that's playing, scales and they do all this thing.
Yeah.
We can reach there, we can reach here, we can. What if I had to play contrary motion? I cannot split in half, right? So I always have this resting place, and then we go where there's a release of weight, and the hand stays as free of twisting as possible.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
And then the other analogy I use to clarify this idea of arm weight is as if our arm was this hanging bridge. This is anchored on this shore, and the other shore is on the keyboard. So my arm is free, yes. Now the hanging bridge is muscle tone, otherwise, if we step on it, we'll fall, right? So with students, I come in with a lot of tension. I have this exercise on thirds, where there's release and there's the experience, this hanging bridge, or the notes on finger 3. So I use a lot of different analogies, but tension is such a problem that I think we all experience it at some point in our lives. And it's the process of getting rid of all that unnecessary tension is like peeling an onion one layer at a time. When you're doing it and you're crying in the process, I didn't think about the crying part, but I think it happens. So when you're doing it, you don't realize. Because, if you really take one little layer at a time, you think, oh my gosh, I'm never going to make it. But, an hour later, you realize, oh, the onion is much smaller now. I got rid of a lot of that tension that was getting in my way. Hope that helps.
It really did. Thank you.
Good. I'm glad. Wow. Thank you. I think you are going home with just a few different ideas for your octaves, for your lateral movements, yes, so that they become more precise. And also holding on to things. That's another big thing that I want you to remember. Holding on to those notes that he put as dotted quarter notes whenever possible. So your hand doesn't feel like it's always, jumping in midair. Make sense?
Yeah.
Great work. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Great to hear you. And now we have Matthew, right?
There's always the next level. Where you're at.
Hey, Matthew.
Yeah, I'll be
Good to
doing
see you.
Chopin,
First movement?
First,
Great.
and you can probably, honestly, you can probably stop me whenever you want to.
Maybe the first two cadences and then we stop.
Okay,
Yeah. Wow, going to the basement. Yeah, really going to the basement. I'm impressed. Oh, okay. Whatever's comfortable. I cannot play that. Very well done. We have 2 more cadences to go back. I thought we could do this. Let's work on this, and if we have time, we can go on to the next one. Okay? But fantastic work. My gosh. Now, same question I asked Raditya. How long have you had this on your piano?
Well, I learned like all 3 movements simultaneously because I had to play with orchestra, but I had it for maybe half a year.
Half a year. Fantastic. And I'm sure it's so interesting every time you come back to it. You know?
Yeah.
How would you describe that experience whenever you bring it back?
Well, I actually 6 months I had to learn it, so
Okay.
I haven't really had to. I
You haven't put it away.
No.
Oh, good. Things like this are hard to put away. For many reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, fantastic work. I particularly liked the second theme, your phrasing and your sound. Very, very beautiful how much you're exploring colors with it. And if you don't mind, I'd like to go even deeper with what you're already doing so well. And what I would like to look at is actually not the melody, but what the left hand is doing.
Yeah.
And this is a little bit tied to other ideas that I have for you, where what is in the surface is fantastic. But if we start looking behind, we see a couple things that are either a little out of place or not crafted enough or not exploited enough. And I think that's the word I want to maybe use for your left hand. We can exploit more what Chopin did. Chopin didn't just do it, didn't do something like this, right? What did he do for the left hand with this?
Like arpeggio.
Yeah, play so people know what we're talking about.
Just left hand.
Yeah, just the left. We assign the melody to the oboe now. We don't have a right hand anymore for the next 5 to 7 minutes. Good. So definitely it's much more elaborate than playing chords, right? Mm-hmm. And you could hear a few things. You could hear echoes of the melody in there. Mm-hmm. What else?
Well, I think these like bass notes are actually very supportive of our hand. It creates
Absolutely.
harmony.
What is the orchestra doing at that time?
Nothing.
Nothing. So it's all you.
Mm-hmm.
You are providing the support, harmonic foundation. Mm-hmm. You're providing with the feeling of the harmony and the melody. But right now we ignore the melody for the next few minutes.
Yeah.
So can you explore more 2 things? One is the intervals, and the other one is the direction of those notes. The music happens, I think, with the intervals, not with the notes. Right? And I heard some intervals, but I heard lots of beautiful notes.
Oh.
But what are those notes making? They make intervals, and all those intervals combined, they create quite a melodic accompaniment. So that melodic aspect of the accompaniment, I think it's not exploited enough.
Okay.
So take, for example, measure 1. There's a lot to do in measure 1. Play measure 1.
Oh wait,
We don't have a right hand anymore.
Oh.
It's all left hand.
Oh.
Measure 1.
Oh. Okay.
So for example, this move, feel more legato, feel more connected to the bottom of the key all the time. Yeah, so I see what you do. You want to emphasize, for example, this. But what if we also think of the and? So we have the 6th and we have the 7th to make music with, not just this note and that note.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Tita, tita. What's the other issue? Why do I think that's important? Well, the melody is moving on the beat.
Yeah. So
Yeah, so we have this space between the melody notes that we can do something with the left, right? Try again. Good. Then little details like this are crucial. What is on this note? Tell your audience.
It's held. Like it's okay.
It has two stems. Like, this one's didn't, this one, this one does. Only that B. Why is it relevant?
I guess to create like the harmony.
Yeah, so far we had the pedal point of the tonic, and finally we move. Yes? So that arrival to the dominant, you can prepare with a little more love coming into it, right? Right? Instead of, now it's supposed to change.
Yeah.
Nothing is just because, right? Right. Yes, one more time before we add your right hand to it. I would give a bit more weight to that beat.
Okay,
So this, connect even more. You're pedaling right now, right?
Yeah.
I'm not, but I think I sound more legato. Right? It has to be like a more pasty sound, like you're getting adhered to the keys rather than just poking them.
Yeah.
Good. That sound got a little warmer already. Okay, let's see if we add the right hand, and your ear needs to be checking if the left hand went back to automatic pilot.
Yeah.
Right? We cannot be an automatic pilot. Yes, and there's something very neat to bring out here. Where is that? Because now we have like somebody else came on stage, The alto came on stage. So you have to, the spotlight gets on that person the moment they step on the stage, not once they reach the middle, right?
Yeah.
So we have to hear already from that B that a new person is on stage. Can you maybe back it up to there or there? Release more weight on the bass. The orchestra doesn't even have the bass. It's all you. You kind of just have this tune floating in mid-air without bass. Okay? So that's what I would really encourage you to do with this section, that the right hand, all this that you do here is absolutely beautiful, but it needs something underneath it, right? Then when you get to this cadenza here, I also thought that the left hand could be more present. When your right hand is doing stuff, good. But when the left hand is doing stuff, I was not sure. Let me give you one specific example. Let's do, there was one. Yeah, okay, let's do, for example, okay, this one is in the right hand, but take, for example, this 4 measure scale.
Sorry,
Just the right hand, this 4.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah, so as I said before, the interesting thing is the interval. It's that tritone. Notice that the E and the A. It's the interval, and now it's the seventh, and resolution. Yeah, we have tension, 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 resolve. Don't just play the notes, right?
Yeah.
Ti-dum, ti-dum, ti-da-dum. Yeah, think of those two notes creating a melody of some importance, right? And what is the left hand doing here? Let's play just left hand. Right hand already got an A+, okay?
Yeah.
Left hand, we have to see.
Oh, should I go one?
Well, which of these two chords has more tension? This one or this one? That one. Because right now they are played the same way, right?
Yeah.
So that's for example a place where, you know, on the surface, right hand, wow, amazing. Then we look behind, so I'm not quite sure what's going on back there, right? So go back to this. C, B. Yeah, and length is important. Chopin writes quarter, quarter, rest. Quarter, quarter, rest. He doesn't say quarter, half note, quarter, half note. Dum, 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 dum. Yes, so that left hand now is engaged in what the right hand is doing. Now, you can add the right hand. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm too focusing too much on the.
I know. Now you have something else you have to listen for, right? So it's
Yeah.
like your brain is like, whoa. Yes. So that's the voice for the left hand, right? Okay. Another place where the left hand needed a voice is, okay, starting here to play the left hand. So. Okay. Then you get the A+ already. You know, when the 16th notes come in, you know, no doubt A+. Now, can we do anything nicer with that left hand you just played?
Like intervals, maybe. Like,
Intervals, yes, or voicing. Yeah, so voicing more the A and the G, the G, and then voicing the E and the F.
yeah.
F
Here
sharp.
I tried since I like this reflects the what
Dun, dun, dun,
it
dun.
reflects the in the.
In the orchestra, yes, earlier, yes. Yes, the bass is important too. Yes, and then when you come back to here, the left hand also is important. Play the left. Sorry, we put you on the spot with the left hand alone,
Yeah.
right? But for example, that, it seemed like every time you play those two notes, oh, that's the arrival place. Oh no, he's still going. Oh, that's the arrival. Oh no, he's still going. So you have to plan this because, you know, we're under the spell of a crescendo, right? All the way up to
until
here.
there, yeah.
So you have to plan it not starting so big.
Yeah.
So let's do. Good. Okay, so let's do the simplified version, just the top note. Yes. Now slow version, only top note, and slow. Ta-da, ta-dee, ta-dum, ta-dum, dum. Now we have a direction of 4 measures, yes, going somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, add the other notes, but not the speed, so play the full chords.
Do you think this is like a one big crescendo or like a crescendo?
It
and a
is
crescendo?
one big crescendo,
Okay.
yes.
So like
one
I
big,
won't go down from here.
keep it
Oh,
going.
Okay.
Yes. Ta-da, ta-dee, ta-dee, ta-da. Yes. So now the right hand will have, I think, an easier time growing because the left hand is helping. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You want to try it or get into it?
Sure.
I know it's weird. would just watch, and we don't have time now, but watch that this one and this one don't get excessive sound,
Okay.
so that you don't cut off the line. Okay? If we go back to the beginning where you started playing, and we'll have to stop soon, but we can also look what's underneath. Your right hand, after you start, great. But the left hand has some changing notes in the bass, right? So, sorry, left hand alone?
That's fine. I did this, yeah, I've done this.
Okay, good. Yes, and also the D sharp and the E. Dum, dum. Yes, the bass is important too. Okay. And then the second time around, same thing. Good. Okay, there it's easier because the left hand is doing the octaves, but the tenths here, don't lose the pinky. Make sense?
Yes.
Similar, if you had to play, this would be a fun thing for you to do. Just grab any Schubert songs or Fauré songs that the accompaniment is just chord, 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 chord. So what can you do with chords, right? Like here, the left is just chord, 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 chord.
Like you can, shaping is one thing, and even since this is there's little tempo changes you can.
Yeah,
add
the
to it.
rubato, exactly. Yeah, or sometimes highlight your thumb, or sometimes highlight the middle note. So
Yeah.
if there's a note that is moving in, or if you want to just stay away from accompanying music, just take the E minor prelude, Chopin E minor prelude, number 4, Opus 28, number 4. That is all chords, but one note changes here. The next measure, these are the note changes. You have to, with so little, you have to do so much. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Any questions? Anything that? It looks like I focused this on maybe something that was a little neglected.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, it's relatively new, so I don't really have,
And it makes sense, because when we have something that we are working on, we always take care of what's in the foreground, right? It's like
Yeah.
if we have, I don't know, if we have guests coming,
yeah.
right? Everything looks amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. And then somebody opens the wrong door. It's a closet.
Yeah.
So that's not that's the extreme. That your piece is not in that state. But when we look, behind some doors, we find things that are a little, in need of care.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
No questions?
Yeah,
Good. Any questions from anybody else? Right here, ready to go. Well, thank you so much. This was fun.
Thank you, Dr.
All right.
Sanchez.
Thank you.
Fantastic.
Good
Thank
job,
you,
good job.
Matthew and Alicia, for great performances.
Great job.
Okay, so competitors are going to stay here for a few minutes. We're going to just rearrange this, and we're going to take a picture for newspapers. Tomorrow you're going to be in the cover, and when you open the newspaper, your faces, your bios, all the information. It's going to be